Okay, so I decided I was gonna make a purse and went to our favorite store, and they had some really cute leather type, fake type leather fabric. So this is like a chocolate color, a pink, and then this I'm gonna use for the interior lining. And it really wasn't too bad. It was about $8 a yard for the vinyl type stuff, and this was about a few dollars. So these are the colors I picked. So as soon as I get home, I'm going to start cutting out the pattern and show you how to make this. Okay, so this is going to be the circle for your bottom of your bag, and it should measure exactly 10.5 inches across, because that gives you your seam allowance all the way around. And you want to cut out one of your fabric and one of what's going to go on the inside lining. Ultimately, your bag, when you stitch it down, it's going to look like this. And I'll show you the other one that we stitched down. Okay, so here we're going to have your pattern laid out for your bucket bag. I think there's like 12 pieces that you'll print out. Now you can actually just measure and cut yourself instead of printing, but if you just line these up, tape them together, you'll have the exact dimensions of what you need. You'll have the exact dimensions of what you need. So you're going to lay all these pieces together, lay all these pieces out, tape them together. Let me go ahead and do that for you so you'll see. And it will come out to the exact dimensions. So, and then there's one more little end piece. I'm sorry that it prints on paper like this, but the beauty of it is it isn't using up a whole lot of ink when it does it. So, let's see. There's going to be oh, I've lost my corner piece. Okay. There's another corner piece down here. Yep. So even though, as long as you line the pieces up together, it's going to print out perfectly. Okay. And that's that corner there. Tape it there. Where else I need to tape it? Oh, here. Bit me. Tape it here. I know this is super boring, but at least you get to see and believe that yes, you too can do this, and it's not that hard. So I'm gonna tape that together. Oops, sorry, my big old head's in the way. And oops, I'm missing one. See what happens when you're not paying attention? Nope, this piece goes over here. Oh, duh. Okay, and there's that one. I knew I had it. Took me a minute there. Sorry, folks. Okay, put that together. Okay, so now you've got one big giant piece. So you just need to cut it all out. I'm a little sloppy with my cutting, but I'm sorry it's using up your paper here at the end, but just so you'll know, this needs to measure 31 inches across. So you can see it lines up exactly at 31 inches. And then it's going to be exactly 14 inches. Oops, you can't see. Wide. So it's that easy. Now you got to cut it out. and then pin it to a piece of fabric and then cut that out as well. So I'm going to do that and I'll come back and show you. Okay, so now that you've got your pattern pieces all cut out and taped together and you measured it, okay, take your fabric that you're going to use. I love this fabric, it's so pretty. Okay, so you want to lay your pattern on top of your fabric. Okay, got that all laid out. So now you need to cut, no, I'm sorry, you cut one, because you want, if you want your inner lining to be a different color, then you can do that as well. So if you've got an inner lining of your bag that's going to be white, you need to cut one of these for the inner lining and one of these for the outer lining. If you, this is not a bag that's going to be reversible. So you're going to cut one of the inner lining and you're going to cut another of the outer lining of the purse. Once you get that done, let me go on to the next step. If you're working on the inner part of the fabric, you want to fold it over. And right here is you want to stitch these two edges together, like I've done with this one. This is another piece of fabric I had, and it meets the, it's the 14 by 30 something inches, and I've stitched all along here. Okay, so see, it's kind of like starting to take shape already. I have already cut out my circle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find that seam and I'm going to take my circle and I'm going to start here. And what you want to do is you want to pin this down all the way around the bottom of the bag. And if you've cut your bag properly, your dimensions are going to all work out. Just go around the edge and just keep pinning, because this is the bottom of your bag and you want to stitch it together. Now this is actually a quilted piece of fabric that I had been practicing on, so I decided to just cut it up and use it for this bag. And let's see, we're just going round and round. Make sure those edges line up. Sometimes my cutting is off a little bit, but that's just me. And just keep going all the way around. Okay, so this is the purse, the round tote bag. And as you can see, I've stitched the side, and now I've attached the bottom to the cone, to the bag structure itself. And the easiest way to do this is just to sit it flat and pin it all the way around. And as you can see, you want to be careful, let me go in a little closer, with your pinning. You're attaching the base to the bag, to the body of the bag. You don't want any puckers. Just take your time, do it slow. There's some, you do see some little puckers here, but that's up into the bag body. You're not even going to see that. It's not even going to make that big of a difference once you get it all sewed up. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this up and we'll see what it looks like. And this is another way of looking at the bag from the bottom pinned to the body of the bag. You want to make sure this is even and you don't have any puckers all the way around, and so you'll get a nice stitch. Now I did stitch all the way around just to kind of secure things, and this is actually just I haven't stitched it together yet. This was just a guiding stitch for me. So that's, once again, take your time, use as many pins as you need, more pins the better, and that way your sewing will be a lot easier. Now it's going to be a little tricky to get this up under your sewing machine if you're doing it with the machine, but you know, it'll work out. You could possibly, you could glue this, the body of the bag to the bottom before you stitch it. Or if you're going to hand stitch it, that could work as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and sew all the way around the perimeter to attach the bottom of the bag to the body. Okay, now you can see I've got the bag, let me pull back a little bit, up under the, in the sewing machine. And I'm just going to go ahead and start stitching all the way around. I know it looks like a little pucker here, but when you come together on the fabric, it won't, or vinyl, it won't do that. And remember, you need to, especially with this type of fabric, vinyl, take your pins out before you stitch over them. So go slow, take your time. You want it to look right. You've put a lot of work and effort into this, so try not to mess it up now. Goodness knows I've messed up a bunch of them trying to get it right. Slow down. Okay, like I said, when you're sewing, you want to make sure you don't have puckers. And I'm going to go a little slow because I'm trying to hold a camera with one hand and sew, but just take your time. And you can kind of see when I pre-sewed this 1/4 inch hem, just plain stitch around the bottom, it gives me a really good guide to go from, so I'll know exactly where I'm at on the bag, and it's that, so the hem will be uniform all the way around. Not the hem, but the stitch. Okay, now you can see I've got the bag stitched all the way around. All the way around, so you do see it waffles just a little bit, but that's not a big deal because this is almost like a drum, kind of. It should be nice and taut. Now, I'm going to flip this inside out, show you what it looks like. But one thing I'm going to do, because I'm just a little over obsessive like this, I'm going to do another stitch all the way around because this is the bottom of your purse or your bag, and you don't want it to collapse or come apart, you know, over time. So I'm just going to go back and do an extra stitch. Now, if you're using this for something heavy duty like tools or something, oh, maybe I will show you guys how to make a really cool tool tote bag. Same rules apply, but for a bag that's going to be carrying a lot of heavier stuff, I would actually go with like 3 stitches all the way around, just to ensure that it's not going to break on you. Okay, and here we have it. We've got the bag, you can see. Let me roll it on its side. You got the bottom. I'm going to do another stitch in there. You've got the sides. It's standing upright. And this bag is about, oh, let me see, I forgot how tall this bag is. This bag is, oh, it's a little more than 12 inches tall. And I think I left it that way so that what I could do is, depends on what I'm going to do with the top part of it. So this is the basics for your round tote bag. Pretty cool so far, huh? Okay, almost done. Now I am going to do a lining on the inside of this bag because it's just rather plain. But if you're using leather, you probably wouldn't need to have a lining on the bag. And I'll show you how to make the inside lining. Okay, sorry the light is really bad on this video, which means I really shouldn't use it. But okay, just to show you, I cut out the inside lining for the bag, and now I'm going to go ahead and stitch it to the inside of the bag, and you'll see what that looks like. I know this just looks like a heap of fabric, and it's a big hot mess, but I'm going to show you what it looks like in a minute. Okay, so I have the inside lining of the bag, and I have the outer section of the bag already stitched together. And don't forget, in the bottom of the bag, you need to leave an opening wide enough so you can flip it inside out. Okay, so now what I've done is I basically have put the 2 right sides of the bag together, and then I'm going to stitch all the way around the top so that this bag will have an inside lining. Okay, so now you see I've stitched the lining to the bag, and now I'm just going to flip it inside out. Okay, so now it seems like you kind of have two bags, and I've just flipped it inside out. Now I'm going to tuck it down in there.